you just use one if you have... What on earth even... I hate you.
Playtime is over.
What the fuck? Hey guys, Alran here. As you saw from the, little preview in the intro, I have found a new tech, and I need to tell people about it, or my brain will simply implode. I'm not going to go super in-depth, because I really want to make a full-length Wesker tech guide covering every single one of his techs, and there are a lot, but I want to cover them all in, great detail, sparing nothing. But this one is really cool and really good to know. So, okay. It's a bit complicated, a bit hard to wrap your head around, but the second you dash as Wesker, your collision is checked. Like, if I dash into this wall, the second I click M1, the game knows that I'm going to collide with that wall, and it just kind of tries to time the collision to when it should happen. And if I dash into open space, I'm not going to collide with anything. Now, the reason this is important to know is because Wesker's hitbox in his power is actually different from his player model's collision. As you can see, I can dash right here, even though these barrels are very clearly in my way. It's a lot more clear from the survivor point of view that I'm literally I'm next to these barrels. Like, I'm touching them. But I can still dash. Now, ignore that part. That's coming later. The reason this is important is because if I dash from right here, it already says I'm not going to bump into anything. Despite me very clearly, touching this barrel and this wall and this locker, I'm not going to actually collide with any of it. Because even though I'm nudged, along from my original path, the game keeps the original path in mind when checking for collision. So if I do, this, see? Even though I slammed my face right into this barrel, it doesn't matter, because the game checked my collision from this angle, and it saw that nothing was in the way. Even though, clearly, the locker and this, after I dashed from the locker, I bounced off this wall into the barrel, but the game still said there was no collision, keep going. Now, the reason this is important is because of situations like this. This right here, you might not believe it, but I can dash from right here and end up right here. It's pretty crazy. Because no survivors ever expected you to, from here end up over here. That's ridiculous. Now, you can, of course, angle yourself like this and try to, rebound over here, but you'll end up right here and have to walk a little bit more. But if you just simply back up a little bit to purposefully, bounce yourself off of some walls, you'll end up further out. Because the game will be a little bit more forgiving with your collision. Now, I was originally going to call this tech wall skimming, because Lucio in Overwatch is a very similar technique where he bounces off, he jumps off the edges of walls rapidly to gain a bunch of speed and momentum. And this is pretty similar in a way, but I saw Numi on Twitter call it the Skinny Albert technique, which is way funnier, so I'm probably going to be calling it that instead. But that is just, something important to know. But the really cool part about this tech is it's basically a whole nother tech in and of itself. And it's this. But, yeah, it's what I call wall riding. I'm debating between, wall riding and... You know what? Fuck it. Wall riding it is. Going full Lucio on this. Just stealing it wholesale. I love Lucio. He used to be my main back when I played Overwatch. But, yeah, as you can see, that's a delayed hug tech, except it's better than a hug tech, because hug tech You have to build up momentum. As you can see, I didn't go as far out, I didn't go as fast, but if you do this like delayed hug tech, this wall run, you actually have full momentum from your dash already, so you're gonna go way, way further, way faster. Now the reason this works is the same principles I said before. I'm dashing right here, and the game is detecting that I'm not gonna bump into anything, but this barrel is actually nudging me perfectly to hit the exact corner of this wall. So I'm effectively tricking the game into thinking that I will not collide with this wall, even though I'm rubbing my face into it the entire time. Now you have to be super precise with this, because if you go a little bit like too far to the right, I'm gonna just bump off the wall instead. And if you go a little bit too far to the left, you will actually bump into the wall. You have to be perfect. Like, there, see? I bump into the wall if I go too far to left, and then I bounce off of it if I go too far to the right. But if I skim off this barrel perfectly, land at the exact corner of this wall, I just ride along the entire wall freely. And this is pretty niche, of course, but it's really cool. So who cares that it's niche? And I had to tell people about it, because I would feel bad if I was the only one who knew. So if you're trying yourself, just make sure that you know if you want to slide on a wall, you like want a wall ride, a wall to your left, you have to have an object to your right that will bump you left, and vice versa for the opposite direction. Like an object to your left to bump you right into the corner of the wall. Now it's actually more applicable in more situations than you might assume, just because of, well, RNG. DBD's maps are randomly generated, of course, so you might just randomly get an object that perfectly aligns with the corner of a wall, so that you can like change your trajectory to, you know, wall run on that wall. I'm really sorry if this explanation is confusing and long-winded. I bet it is. But I'm going to like try to formulate my thoughts again in a longer video with graphics and everything, explaining every single Wesker tech, which there are a lot of. Another tech that I haven't even covered in video is pallet slides. A lot of people have been very confused as to what those are. I don't think any, you know, guides of it exist on YouTube. I don't know if everybody even knows what they are, but it is another tech that I found a while back that I just never really thought to explain. But I'll probably make a video covering that real quick, because it's a pretty simple tech, before I make the big tech guide. That's pretty much it. Sorry if this explanation, again, was confusing. I know it might be. I'm not the best at this, which is why I need to take time to make that big ol' video, which will be a lot of work. But yep, subscribe for more Wesker content. I know, not super active on here. I will try to be more so. I'll try to do some gameplay videos, like full matches, stuff like that. Maybe more montages. Those are fun to make. I know DBD montages don't do super well, but, you know, they're fun to make, so I don't really care. I can probably, like, make a gameplay video or a couple and schedule them for the next few weeks. Why not, right? But I appreciate you watching. I do hope you go out and learn this tech, as well as Wesker's many other techs. He has the most techs in the game, by far. Easily, like, the highest skill ceiling in the game, with all this shit. Like, new shit's being discovered all the time, too. And, you know, sorry for the profanity, YouTube. I know you hate it. But, you know, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.